Alright, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. And today's episode we are going to be discussing the Hoenn generation. So that's going to be Gen 3, Gen 6. Hop on in. Let's get going. Oh, before before we actually get started, real quick, I put a update video at the beginning of the playlist that this video is going to go into. Basically all it is just saying, hey, I have the credits for all the photos that I use in the description below, so if you want to see where I got everything from, just check out down below, click on the link, and it should hopefully take you to the the website that I got the pictures from. If not, all you gotta do is just copy and paste it. Most of the stuff I got was from like the Pokemon DB, Pokemon Wiki, stuff like that. But anyway, let's just hop right into this. Alright, so starting off with number one, we're gonna have the starter Blaziken. Now, Blaziken, talk about the good. Um, First time I ever got Pokemon, the third generation Pokemon Ruby, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go with Torchic, just because I was like fire type, and at the time I liked the fire types, and I was just like, okay, and it ended up becoming very good, in my opinion. Again, I was still a kid at the time, so all I really did was just train my starter Pokemon. So by the time I got to the Elite Four, I had like a level 70 Blaziken, and it carried me through a lot of battles, but it also caused me a lot of trouble because I didn't understand why I wasn't doing too good against some Pokemon trainers. But because it got that, because it had that fighting type in it, I was able to get rid of a lot of Steven stuff, because I was able to use like I think I was using double kick at the time, just because I was just like, okay, I know this is gonna work, or maybe it was sky uppercut, stuff like that. This also brought back in, kind of like with Flame Wheel, like I mentioned with Typhlosion. This brought in another of the, in my opinion, signature moves for the starters, which his is, you know, Blaze Kick, and I thought that was a really interesting move. It wasn't that good, or at least from what I remember, it was a decent move. But the only reason why I kept it on my Blaziken through the entire time, because I was just like, this is his move. This is one of the free moves that he should have, and so I always kept that on him. And I just saw him. Yeah, like I said, he just carried me through a lot of stuff, more fights than he probably really should have been able to carry me through. But like I said, I'd only ever fight with him, nothing else, and I just have the rest of the other. I just have everything else, just as a backup to die, and I just have the ones that I just needed as HM slaves, like flying or for surf or for cut or some other stuff. But he did really great. And then with Emerald, I think I picked him again. And when you know you get to Wallace and Ruby, and then when you get to his replacement, is it Juan? Was Juan his replacement? Anyway, the guy who replaced Wallace as the gym leader in Emerald, he obviously they kicked my ass several times because they were stronger against him, but I ended up pulling through because I think I just randomly decided to do other moves, or I think I may have trained, or my mom actually would help train up my Pokemon sometimes, and so I was just like, okay, so I just used whatever random Pokemon that she'd trained up, beat them, and then I was just like, all right, cool, we're going to switch back to Blaziken now. And number two, we have what is probably the most obvious choice in Gen 3 in Hoenn, Gardevar, or Gardevar. Gardevar? And do you know who I'm talking about? I don't even have to go into any depth about. And honestly, I probably don't even really have to explain this choice, but I'm going to do it anyways because I don't know. I wanted to talk. I like to hear myself talk. But anyway, what really started it off with me was just like, I'm pretty sure with a lot of people, what pissed me off was Wally, that being his first Pokemon. It brought up when you first meet Ralts, or the first time you're supposed to meet Ralts, is when you're helping Wally learn to catch Pokemon, which honestly was the first time that they had actually kind of did like a little switcheroo. to where you like your character is the one who's actually showing the newbie how to catch Pokemon. Granted, he's just like, okay, so from what I remember, you just attack, lower their health, and then you try to throw a Pokeball. So that was just, obviously one very interesting way of doing that. As far as, yeah, yeah, that pretty much for the most part up until Sword and Shield. That was like the first time that you were actually able to teach. I think that was the first and only time you were able to actually teach somebody else how to catch stuff. Other than that, every other time, you were taught, or you could just skip it because you already caught a bunch of Pokemon. But I just remember seeing that, and I was just like, what? What? He gets this thing. He gets Ralts as his partner Pokemon, but and don't get me wrong, Blaziken, Swampert, and Sceptile, they're all amazing Pokemon. But Ralts to Gardevar, like, oh my god, that pissed me off. That literally just pissed me off because I was just like, why can't I get this? And so I would literally, I think I would spend hours trying to find a Ralts because they're just like super rare in that early area. I was just like, all right, I need to get this. I need to get this. And then it's just like you run into the same thing like with the Abra. It's just for the first 15, 20 levels, it's hard as hell to use that Pokemon because it doesn't have any attack moves. And this is before you could actually, this is so early on in the game, you didn't have that experience share. I don't think you got the experience share until like halfway through the game. It wasn't, and it's not like Gen 6 and above where the experience share was just automatically turned on. And I don't care what anybody says, that is a fucking godsend. Because I don't want to hear anybody say that they actually enjoyed the grind. No one enjoys grinding or want to spend hours training 6 individual Pokemon to get up to a high enough level. Like, granted, and that part of a lot of that stems back to me just training my starter and only my starter, and then just getting them up. But if you wanted to use something like Ralts or one of the pseudos who have a slow experience gain or aren't that strong enough to where you can actually put them out, you just, instead of switching them back, putting them in, switching them out with something else, you could just easily train them by just going like, okay, hey, we're going to go up to this. We're going to go a little bit of a higher up level area, knock out a few mons, get them leveled up higher, so that way they can actually use some moves, and then you can just go back to a area where they're going to be relatively powerful and start training them from there. And honestly, like I said, there's not much I can say about Gardevoir that has not already been said before, and that's not even getting into all the you know what I'm insinuating at. I'm not even going to attempt to try to explain that. It just feels so weird, but yeah, that's why Gardevoir is number 2. Number 3, we have the normal type Exploud. Now this one is a kind of a weird choice in my opinion. One of the reasons why is because it starts off with Whismur. You get him in the that cave off of Rustboro City. I can't remember the name of the cave, but it's the one in between Rustboro and Wally's uncle. Wally's uncle's sit town. I can't remember the name. The one with, I think it was the first Pokemon contest you can actually compete in. Is that? And just one of those things. It's just like at first you're just like, when you first see it, like, what is this? But even for a first stage evolution, you just part of it's just like, what is this pathetic thing? And then you catch it, you're like, okay, yeah, sure, why not, whatever. And then it becomes Loudry, and you're like, okay, I like it. I kind of like where this is going. And then when you finally get into Exploud, and it's just like, what the shit is this? Something that I really enjoy is or something that I'm kind of, I don't know how they would work this out, in all honesty. A lot of people want to talk about how they should introduce a sound type Pokemon or sound type yeah, just sound type in general. And I'm like, in all honesty, I was like, you know what, Xbox would do pretty good with that. Make it a sound type Pokemon because it's in its name. It's a loud explosion. Xloud. Or explosion loud, however you want to. I'm pretty sure that's why it's called that. Don't quote me on that. It makes sense, so it should be that. And if it's not, it is now. And it's just one of those things. It's just like, this is one of those Pokemon that I believe is like the epitome of what Pokemon is about. I've seen this meme going in on Facebook several times. It's just like, one of the things that I love about Pokemon is that there could be, doesn't matter, every single Pokemon is someone's favorite Pokemon, somewhat. You know what I mean? Like, every single person is going to have a different favorite Pokemon. And a lot of them, yeah, they're, like I said, I'm a Charizard fanboy. I'll be the first to admit that. He is my favorite Pokemon of all time because of the fact that he was my first starter. But, like I was saying, X-Cloud, in my opinion, is the beauty of that statement. I don't know that many people who actually like X-Cloud. I've never really heard anything said. I've never heard anyone ever say anything about him in general. Like, nothing good, nothing bad. But it's just one of those Pokemon that I just genuinely love. Like, in all honesty, like, I've used it in battle several times. Every single time I have an opportunity to get one, I use it as much as I possibly can. And I know for a fact that long term, it might not be that viable. But I still use it up until the point to where I sometimes feel I might have to change it out. But it's hardly does that ever happen. The only time I might not ever really use it is like if I'm just like, you know what, I just want to go in and I just want to use a bunch of like pseudo legendary Pokemon that I just happen to breed and just sent in, so that way I can just like start a new game. So like, your Garchomps, your Metagrosses, your Salamances, your Tyrannitars, stuff like that. And it starts off early enough in the game where you can get one and just carry it with you. And it's just it's one of those things. It's just like, he's a pretty good powerhouse. I've used, and you know what I mean. It's just, I just really enjoy him. It's one of these things that it's just kind of like hard to explain exactly why. Something about him. I'm just like, fuck yeah, dude. Hell yes. X-Cloud is a boss. He's a beast, and it's just not really much I can say about that. So that's going to be it for this one. Alright, so number 4. Again, this is another obvious choice for, in my opinion, Gen 3, the Hoenn games. But I think the next 3 are going to be pretty obvious, or I'd say 2 out of the 3 of the next 3 are going to be somewhat obvious. But it is Aggron. It's Aggron. This is one of those, I feel like this is one of those Pokemon that with a lot of people, I'm not going to say it's a staple of the team, but I feel like a lot of people, whenever they go and play through, the Hoenn games, a lot of people are going to have him on his team, and for a very good reason. It's a very well designed Pokemon. Like I said, I still have it, you can probably see it right here. I just have it up here on my phone, so it's just easier for me to reference. But it's a very good design. It's got, again, like I said, I'm not the best when it comes to competitive aspects of Pokemon, but if you know what you're doing, he's either going to be he's going to be really strong, like a tank, or he's going to be a very good wall you can use. Now, I never really used its Mega Form. In all honesty, the only Mega Form I cared about is Charizard X. I'm gonna just be real with you. Some of the other ones I'm like, yeah, they're cool, but I'm gonna use that because you only use it one time per battle. It was gonna be my Charizard, no doubt about that. And it was one of those things. It's just like, he starts off, it's like that little runt, Aeron, and then he turns into Lairon, and then he's just like, it's like a little bipedal. I would say he's almost like a beetle or he's almost like a rock bug almost, just the way how he looks. And then he evolves into like what looks like almost like a little hippo or rhino or something. And then he evolves into almost a different time. He evolves into almost a different form of like Godzilla basically. And it's just like here, I'm just pulling him up so I can see it a little bit more. But he's like Godzilla with like a Triceratops. Like I think is there a Godzilla monster that's like a Triceratops? I think there is. I don't know. I'm not that familiar with the Godzilla mythos, so I could be completely wrong. But he's just like it's basically a Triceratops that walks on two legs, and and he's just gonna fuck you up. That's really all it is. He's just gonna fuck you up if you use him right, and it's just also the fact that early on, you can get him by the third gym. If you wanted to, all you gotta do is just go into that cave wherever you have to go and deliver the Devon packages, and then guess what? You've got a monster slowly building up steam to come out and fuck everything up. And that's all there really is need to be said about Aggron. And that's all I'm going to say. So on to the next one. Number 5 is Salamance. This is my favorite dragon type. Dragon types are, I think I've said before, as you can tell by the poster right here behind me, dragon types are my favorite type in all of Pokemon. It's just, what else is, like, why would they not be? I don't understand how they're not more popular. It's a fucking dragon, dude. And this is like it's built off of basically like one of my favorite types of dragon, which is, let me see. Yeah, pretty much kind of like that. I really love like the European like style of dragons. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not basically not like Rayquaza. You know, the legendary. Or Shenron. I don't like. There's nothing wrong with those types of dragons, but I just prefer these ones just because they represent more raw power and strength, in my opinion. And now the reason why Salamence is so high up there is because this is like one of the first pseudo legendaries that I actually caught as a kid. Because I used to have strategy guides, and I was looking through, and I saw Bagon. I was just like, and I saw Salamence. I was just like, okay, I want you. How do I get you? And so I realized, and so when I read, it's like, okay, so to get this one, you have to have Waterfall. I was like, okay, and then you have to go to Meteorite Cave, I think. Yeah, I think it's Meteorite Cave, and and it's right after I believe Fall Arbor Town. Basically, after you meet where the fossil guy's at, that town right after, and then after you meet I believe her name is Lynette, the PC person for the Hoenn region. And so I was just like, okay, to get him, you have to go up this waterfall, and you got to go and find this certain cave at a certain time, and you had to be in a certain part of the cave. So you had to surf over this body of water, and you had to go in this like tiny little like rectangle area and just walk around. And I feel, if I remember, I don't even remember, so I'm just gonna say like a 1 in 3 chance of Bagon showing up. And so the first time it did, I was just like, whoa, fuck yes. And you know, I think I fucked up and accidentally killed it, and I was just like, son of a bitch. And so I tried again, and I managed to get him. And so when I got him and I finally trained him up, you know, when he evolves into Shelgon, and it's just like you read, it's just like, this Pokédex entry is just like, Bagon dreams of learning how to fly one day. And so he'll toss himself from the mountaintops, and then his hard head causes him to shatter boulders whenever he falls down. And then he evolves into Shelgon, and it's just like, I don't remember exactly what Shelgon's Pokédex entry is, but it's just the same thing. It's like, he wants to fly, but with his becoming pretty much a shell, he's just he's even heavier, and he can't really fly. And then when he finally evolves into Salamance and he has his wings and he's able to just go out and fly, like, part of me is just like, by helping him evolve and get more powerful, we've helped, this creature fulfill one of its lifelong dreams of being able to fly. And to me, I'm just like, that's that's really sweet. Like, I love that as a trainer, in the games, like, you're able to do that. You're able to help this. Again, it's one of the more humanizing aspects of Pokemon, like I mentioned in the last video with Ampharos, being the light at a lighthouse. To me, this kind of brings apart more of the actual connection of what Pokemon is. It's like how it's a mutual relationship between trainer and Pokemon. It's not just, as much as the meme says, it's not just like animal fighting, but professionally. It's literally two creatures, the trainer and the Pokemon, working together to mutually becoming stronger. It's about trust, and the fact that as a trainer you're able to help them do that, that spoke to me as a kid, and honestly it still kind of does now. And I'm not trying, and I don't care if it sounds sappy. I really believe that. And so just doing that, I love it. And again, speaking of like mega evolutions, because I know, like, honestly 5 of the 6 Pokemon I have on this team are able to mega evolve. I do not like, first of all, I don't think it's like it's an alright design. It's mega evolution, it looks more like a UFO, where it kind of like, it legs comes in, it becomes more like a crescent and it flies. I don't mind it. It's an alright design, but the thing that I don't want to like using it is because it basically says, I could be wrong. I think I might be mistaking this one with Garchomp, but either way, the point still stands in my opinion. Is that basically whenever it mega evolves, that it becomes so aggressive that it basically doesn't listen to its trainer, and it will even attack them. And I'm like, even if it's just data, even if it's just, and it doesn't really affect anything, I never wanted to use the Salamence, I believe, Salamence, to mega evolve it, because I was just like, no, we're buddies, we're friends. I don't want to make him that fucking angry, and it feels so much more crueler that way. But that's just one of the reasons why I love Salamence, just because it was like the first pseudo legendary that I actually caught as a kid, and not just as like a teenager or as an adult. I was still a kid when that happened, and the fact that I was able to go through all that, I managed to get it. That's why Salamence is. Alright, and last but not least, we have, again, this is what I feel like possibly a staple of the Hoenn games, Absol. It's Absol. It's a fantastic design Pokemon. It's simple but yet effective. The Mystery Dungeon games gives it really good personality. How it's just like everybody think, oh, this Pokemon's evil. Everybody thinks it's evil, especially from its Pokedex, because it's like, it goes whenever there's a calamity about to happen, and it visits that place and it's trying to warn them, but everybody hates it because it thinks that it's bringing the calamities to them. But when it's, in fact, it's actually trying to help them by escaping and getting away. And so, and it's just like, this has been in the movies. I can't remember which movie it was, but was it the one with Jirachi? I don't know. I can't remember which movie it was in, but it's just the fact that it was like this elegant, graceful creature, and it literally, it's all it does is just try to help people, but people want to look at it like it's a monster because they can't understand that it's trying to warn them, but while they think that it's just saying fuck you and bringing the wrath of God on them, or Arceus or Arceus, I don't know. Either way, the wrath of Arceus down upon them. And so that's something that I think it's, like I said, it's a really bittersweet moment or bittersweet thing, because it's just trying to do its best. It just wants to help people. And then it's just like one of the, like I said, with a lot of my Pokemon, there are times where even if it's not the most viable move, I still have them use it because I feel like it fits them personally. So like I said, for Alligator, I usually give it like Bite, Crunch, or like recently with like the Gen 4, one of the Fang moves, mostly Ice Fang, or yeah, Ice Fang, something like that. I basically give it a Bite move because in my opinion, it makes sense for it to use that. With Absol, one of those moves is like Slash or Night Slash because it's got the scythe on its head. And I just like, you know what? That fits it so well. And again, I don't care if it's not the right move to use. I use it because I feel like it's a little bit more about its personality. Like, you can't look at that Pokemon and you can't tell me that it doesn't look like it would use something like that. You can't tell me. You can't tell me that. Literally, you just cannot. And then it's just, my Eva's one is an easy Pokemon to get, or relatively easy Pokemon to get. You get it right after, I think, sixth gym, yeah, in Fortree City after you defeat the Flying type gym leader. Yeah, that's because Flannery, and then your dad. Yeah, 6th gym, and so you're right in, mid game, to where, like I said, sometimes X-Cloud, unfortunately, no matter what I do, I just can't make it work, and so sometimes X-Cloud will be switched out with Absol, and I'd have another Pokemon just as a backup, and I try my best not to switch them out, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. And so, but Absol is a fantastic choice. Anyways, so that's the end of the Hoenn episode. As always, comment down below. Let me know, what did you think of my team? What are your favorite Pokemon you like to use in either the Gen 3, or Gen 6, or just in Hoenn in general? Yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. Share this with your friends. Let me know what you think. Again, let me know what you with the editing and everything. I'm still learning how to use the program that I'm using, which you can tell what it is because of that giant ass watermark in the bottom of the video, which I have to use because it's free. But I'm still learning, and I'm still trying my best to experiment with it, get better with it. So let me know what you think of how the video looked down below. Other than that, thank you very much. Y'all have a fantastic day, and I'll see y'all later.